Well, I'm here beside Colm Boyle. Colm, first of all, congratulations. You're part of the next Mayo senior football management team, along with Andy Moran and Paddy Tally. That news confirmed and ratified here this evening. Is it something that was always kind of on your list? Obviously, when you're playing, you're thinking about playing football. But when you started the coaching aspect, do you always want to have that wish and that dream to get involved in the senior team?
You know, it's something that you would have thought about, all right, in the past. You know, it's funny, and I mentioned it inside there at the lads, it's something, you know, towards the latter end of my career, you definitely will be taking a bit more notice about managers and what they're doing and what they're saying and the way they're coaching and delivering messages. And obviously James Horan would have been a huge influence, and even myself and Andy. And you know, towards the last couple of years of my career, when I knew I was kind of on the way out, I'd be listening kind of more intensely to James and the way he was delivering messages and what message he was kind of getting across to the group, and could understand more why he was saying certain things at that particular time. And these are the things I was thinking, that was absolutely brilliant. That's what the team needed at that time. So I think when I started thinking about that, you're automatically thinking about maybe life after playing football, and that just led me into a bit of coaching. I've been lucky, you know, in regards to Sean Dean approached me in 2023 regards getting involved in the under-17s at the time, and really enjoyed that. And you know, I moved on to kind of a development squad at the Mayo under-19s over the last couple of years, so really enjoyed being involved in that and involved in young players. And I suppose, look, the opportunity came. It was a surprise at the time, really, when Andy picked up the phone to me, but you know, to be honest with you, it was an absolutely no-brainer on my behalf. You know, opportunities like this don't come around. It maybe never came again, and I thought the chance to work with Andy and Paddy Tally, of course, and just the Mayo senior football team is obviously really exciting, and it's a huge privilege at the same time.
That conversation with Andy, what was it like? I mean, Andy, you know him for years. He's such an enthusiastic kind of character.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was direct. It was straight off. There was no beating around the bush. He told me exactly what he wanted me to do in terms of coming on board with him. And you know, like I said, once he said it, you know, I didn't need much time to think about it, and it was a straightforward conversation, to be honest. And I was back to him very quickly after a couple of conversations, obviously at home and stuff like that. And when I weighed it up, and again I go back to it, you know, how often is an opportunity like this going to come up? And you know, I've been watching the group closely over the last couple of years as well. I've been with you on a couple of occasions watching the group, you know, with Midwest, and you know, you see the potential that's there, you see the potential that's around the county at the club games at the minute, and obviously the couple under 20 teams that had over the last couple of years, and you weigh all that up, and you look at it from the outside and you're thinking, yeah, that's something I want to be a part of and try and grow and develop with Andy and Paddy, and see obviously where we can take the group in 2026 and beyond.
There's very few players, I'm sure, you don't know or haven't come across the county at this stage from your roles with the under-19 setup, watching so many underage games in Mayo, and of course then with the club scene. You know, playing with Davits and involved with Davits, you know, doing your co-commentary games. You watch games on a regular basis. You must see and feel there's something there, there's something brewing in this Mayo coming through the next number of years.
Yeah, and to be honest, everything you mentioned there, Michael D, about that involvement, even from a coaching point of view, and playing myself and being involved with yourselves, going around watching games, that's been brilliant for me since I finished playing football, to be honest with you. And even getting to know the wider base of players that's out there, because you know the players are out there. You know, Andy mentioned aside there, it's a newer game, so you're kind of looking for different kind of positions and players in different positions. Certainly around the middle third sector, regards, you know, the kick out is now such a huge area of the game now that players that might have been almost irrelevant in the inter-county game 5-10 years ago are certainly back relevant again. So these are all the things you're looking for now at the minute when you're watching club games. And you know, I mentioned aside there as well, the club scene is really exciting now at Mayo at the minute. You know, we've got a really competitive senior championship, intermediate and junior course as well. And you know, you could see from the crowds, like you were out and about over the weekend, like I was myself, there's such an appetite for Mayo club football at the minute. The crowds that were at games were unbelievable at the weekend, and people are really invested into it, and you know, invested in their own clubs, number one, and see the talent that's there. But like I said, number two, they're invested to see what talent is out there for Mayo, who could possibly, you know, put their hand up and show what they have potentially for Mayo in 2026, and that's what certainly myself and Andy and Paddy are looking out for at the minute.
There'll be still a considerable amount of players yourself and both Andy would have played with. How much of a challenge do you think that is? Obviously you've experienced with Davits as well, having played with guys and then coaching them. Is that different? Does it maybe at times, you know, put you under a little bit of pressure making a decision, or do you just put that to one side and it's something part and parcel of the game you have to deal with and get on with it?
I think, Michael, if you look at any inter-county management team throughout the country at the minute, or in the last couple of years, like there'd be someone there on that management team that's played with players in the group, or managed them, or been a coach maybe in their club team or whatever it is. Like, there's always a connection somewhere, really. And as being part of a management team, so I don't see that as an issue at all. If I thought that was an obstacle to me being the best I can for Andy and the team going forward, then I wouldn't have gotten bored. So like I said, I absolutely don't see it as an obstacle. I think actually I could turn it into a positive, in that I know the group, I know a lot of the group, I know the strengths, I know their weaknesses, I know areas that obviously they can improve on, and like I said earlier on, I know a good cohort of the younger players that's coming in or coming through possibly next year as well. So when you add all that up, I see far more positive there than negatives.
What'll it be like working with someone like Paddy Tally? Have you come across Paddy before previously?
Never come across him. I'll be honest with you, obviously know a good bit about his work and the work he's done. An unbelievably experienced coach. I think that's the first thing we should take on board here. Huge experience in the game. He's worked with some unbelievable teams, some unbelievable players. So the knowledge that he would have picked up from all that over the years is something I'm really looking forward to tapping into and learning from him as well, and you know, adding things in myself as well to the group. So it's really, really exciting for me to work with a guy like Paddy. Something I'm really looking forward to. Haven't met him yet. That's happening next week. So yeah, it's hugely exciting. I think Andy and himself just met randomly a couple of months ago in a challenge match with when Derry played Monaghan, and you know, here we are a couple of months later, and the two of them have linked up together, and I think it's great for Mayo football.
The expectation from supporters out there, of course, you know, they're excited now, a new era again. You know, yourself and Andy Moran, you're, you know, of course, playing here in the stadium we're standing in here, and in Croke Park, of course, giving us some big days. The Mayo style of play was always known as, you know, the running game. Mayo bring the chaos, all these different, you know, types of terms used. And I know in the last year we watched them at times, and I think you've done a couple of games yourself where perhaps we're thinking, okay, Mayo need to play a bit like Mayo have in the past, you know, run at teams, you know, go direct. Would that be the type of style that Mayo will be going with under yourself and Andy and Paddy, or, you know, is it horse for courses and depending on what it brings?
There is a certain element of horses for courses as well, absolutely. But bear in mind, and I keep going back to this, you are playing a slightly different game now. With regards to style of play, first of all, we're looking for a Mayo team that's absolutely committed to giving 100% every day to pull on the Mayo jersey. I think that's the first course of play. You know what I mean? If you've got 30 guys that's fully invested in that, then the performance will actually follow on from that as well. Style of play, you know, I think you look back at our games over the last couple of years, I think, you know, it's no secret we haven't won enough big games, you know, and first of all, that's something we have to go after, absolutely. But I think that even starts now with the work myself and Andy and Paddy hopefully going to do over the next couple of weeks, and will do over the next couple of weeks and months, in regards finding inches between now and before even we start back with the group of, you know, little things we can make, little changes we make, either to the group or circumstances around the group. And if you can make enough inches along the way, you're hoping that will actually come to fruition on game day as well. So, you know, these are all the things we'll be targeting, absolutely. And I think you mentioned there about Croke Park and games. You know, we've probably been playing enough big games really over the last couple of years, and that's something we need to get back to as well. But it's not without a huge amount of work.
Finally, Colm, what is the goal for year one? It's a 3-year term. What's year one for you in terms of the ticking off the list?
I'll be honest with you, there's no ticking off the list. You know, we're not really interested in honeymoon periods or anything like that. It's about, you know, finding the best group, first of all, the best 30, 35 boys that's going to represent Mayo next year. I think that's the first target in regards of, you know, the club championships, and, you know, getting that group that I spoke earlier on that's willing to give absolutely 110% to the Mayo jersey for next year. I think that's goal one, and everything else after that is about building and developing and see where you can go. And like I said, see where you can go as a group, see what you can achieve together, and take it one step at a time.
Well, Colm, the very best of luck. We'll miss seeing you up in the media tower, but don't be a stranger.